All right, today is Thursday the 10th of July, sorry, 9th. Thursday the 9th. It's like 8:30 or so in the afternoon, evening, whatever. Finally got me some sleep after being here all stinking night till like almost 10 in the morning. So now, good news. Today, the gasket set came in for 8100. So what I want to do is I want to start in on getting this 8100 cleaned up a bit and then get it just kind of put together so I can put it in the car, because I want to see it run. So, but I'm going to continue with the stripping of the paint on the Camaro instead of like yesterday. Yesterday I was using this putty scraper, putty knife to scrape. We know we're at Walmart. I got this scraper. I don't really like it. It's a little too much of an angle. Last night I put on chemical stripper up here, and you can see it kind of bubbled up and everything. It's pretty much dry. I think it's still a little moist underneath. But let me show you. This is the style of scraper, just a straight single edge blade. It's the style of scraper that I prefer, because once this paint is all softened up, so once it's softened up, then I'll just come by with the scraper and just carefully work on that. That looks like a spot of Bondo and putty on the roof, but basically that spot's a little bit dry, so it's a little bit tougher. I don't really push really hard downward. I'm just mostly trying to skim, and I don't do a full blade width on it. I think that wet stuff might be from there where it was on the rust on the metal instead on the paint. But so I don't want to get it on my hands. But see, if I take like maybe, you know, a half to 2/3 of the blade width and I run it. Of course, it's not going to do it now that I'm trying to show, but you can just take it and just run it right down and just peel and roll, row by row. And I think that works way better than the putty knife, to just go ahead and run that down. Oops. But it does a pretty good job of taking that soft paint off, even though it's not completely bubbled up all over the place, even though it's not all the way down to the metal, you know. And it just rolls that up. That paint is so thick. Whew. So hopefully that'll help me get this thing moving a little quicker on the paint stripping, instead of just a crap ton of time lapse. This will just help it go so much quicker. You know, I don't need full blade width on the knife to be effective at peeling all that paint off of there. You know, the idea is just to kind of skim on the paint and not dig into the metal, because the blades will dig into the metal, leave you with big scratches. See, like that guy right there, because they're not perfect, right? And you catch an edge somewhere and then it digs. But I'll sand it all out when I sand it down for prepping it up. See, I'm just trying to get the majority of this paint off, you know, because sanding through 4 or 5, 10 layers of paint, you know, it just sucks really bad. And honestly, the chemical stripper isn't really working all that great, but it's a whole lot easier to do it this way than it is to try and sit there and sand it all off. And it's a lot cheaper than trying to, you know, pay one of them dustless blast guys to come blast it all off. Because I paid the guy like $750 to blast the Camaro that I've got in the yard that I call the black Camaro that's gray, because I had him blast it down, and then I just shot a real quick layer of primer on it because I knew it was going to sit in the yard until I got to it, which has been way too long. But you know, that he didn't want to do it wet, and it kind of warped some of the metal I can see, so it's going to cost me more in body work. Plus he etched a couple of he etched my side mirrors, he etched my side windows, he etched my windshield. You know, it wasn't good. And any of my fiberglass or plastic pieces he hit, it chewed them up pretty bad. So I don't know, this just seems to me more of a logical way. It's a lot longer, you know, but limited funds limits what you can do, right? But doesn't mean that you can't do it. So anyways, it's gonna be another day. It's about a week until the season opener of Half Mile at the airstrip attacks over in Kansas. And so I don't know, I really would like to be there for that. You know, even if I could have this car running but not painted or whatever, I would really like to do that just to start and do the entire season. So we'll see, but time to get to work. Alright, so I'm going to start cleaning up this 8100. Scrape the gasket surfaces, all that. I've already scraped the oil pan gasket surface on the bottom of the block. I'm going to scrape the cylinder head surfaces here. I already started on this one, you can see. Got a little bit of mess down here. But this scraper that I bought at Walmart actually is working pretty good for this right here. So without really gouging into anything. So this should work out pretty good. scrape all these surfaces and all that. The gaskets that I got did not come with any of the bottom end gaskets, so nothing for the timing cover, oil pan, any of that crap. So I had to order some others, and I'm thinking they're going to get here like Wednesday, Thursday next week. Hopefully they'll get here sooner. If I can find the old oil pan gasket, I'll just go that route. One thing about this 8100, getting it out of the junkyard, it obviously had a lot of miles because it's got a sleeve on here, on the crank, where obviously the front timing cover seal had cut into the crank, so they put a sleeve on there so to seal. And in order to put the Snyder Racing Cam in there, in order to pull that timing cover off, to pull the seal out of it, I think that's got to come off the crankshaft. So I may not mess with that. I may just leave the stock cam and then just try and tune it with the Terminator X. Put the Terminator X on it and tune it. And then if I put bigger injectors, maybe I can pull some more power out of it just stock wise, because it's not going into a truck with stock tuning from GM. So maybe that'll work. I mean, it was 330 horse rated from the factory. It's going in a lighter car. I mean, it had like 450 pound-feet of torque. So maybe I can get it up to it. Man, if I could get it to 370 horse tuning, that would be like the 440 that came in my father's 67 GTX back in the day. So, but I think it'll have more torque. So that'll be good, I think. There'll be plenty of torque for this car. It'll be pretty fair amount of horsepower, but what it'll do is it'll get this thing moving quick, you know, off the line quick. May struggle a little harder at the higher end, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna go to scraping and cleaning, clean this motor up.